Hi, everyone. We're here today with Matador Pizza and Steakhouse owner Jason Seitanidis. Jason, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Colleen. Thanks for having me today.
Our pleasure. Now, it's great to be there. We can't be there physically, but hey, thank you, Zoom. We're there, and we want to check out your place and hear all about it.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about Matador and what your specialty is and what you guys are all about.
Well, sure. We opened in 1976. I'm the second owner of Matador Pizza. Our specialties are pizza, lasagna, our Caesar salad, which is to die for, and our steaks. That's our four core products.
That's great. So your pizza, I understand there's a Greek twist there. Can you tell us about that?
For sure. We make what's called a Calgary Greek style pizza, and there's a kind of a history behind it. I'm not sure if you want me to go into it, but
Sure.
it's a thick ciabatta style crust with heavy topping and full fat cheese on top, baked low and slow, 550 in that range there for about 20-25 minutes. So it comes out
Nice
and crispy all around. Yeah.
crispy crust.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but thick. Yeah, like ciabatta bread.
Well, let's go back. How long
Sure.
have you been in business? You're the second owner, but to give me a little bit of a history lesson.
Sure. My history goes back to being in the bar and restaurant business pretty much my whole life. Prior to owning Matador, I owned a place up in Crowfoot, which is the far northwest corner of Calgary. I had a bar and restaurant there. Always been in the business. My parents were in the business, and that's kind of how I kind of got my roots into it. A little bit about Matador is being in business since 1976. I'm the second owner, and I bought it in 2011. I left the business in 2006. I went back to Greece and started the family. The owner of Matador called me up and said, "Hey, I hear you might be coming back to Canada. Are you interested in a restaurant?" And my first reaction was no. And of course, like any rational person in the restaurant business would say no. Came back to Canada, met with George, the previous owner. Kind of a funny story. He's friends of my parents forever. They kind of immigrated here around the same time into Canada, and he was looking to get out, and I found an opportunity that I couldn't say no to. So that's kind of how I got back into it.
Yeah, you knew the business.
I did
a
know
little
the
bit about
business,
the business from going
and,
back.
yeah, and the history with the previous owner as well. So yeah, for sure it helped.
That's great. And having grown up knowing what running a business is like, that kind of explains your first reaction. Like you
I grew
didn't
up
get into it lightly, did you?
No, I grew up in a very entrepreneurial family, for sure. Absolutely. Both my parents were always in a business of their own of some sort.
Right. So challenges. What's right now? What keeps you up at night right now? What is the sort of your focus
Things
with the
that keep
business?
me up at night. I don't really have things that keep me up at night, but some challenges that we're facing currently. We're really blessed. All of our staff came back, and we haven't had to really source new staff, which has been great. During the pandemic, we were able to keep 100% of our kitchen staff, and we had to lay off some of the front house staff. So we went from a staff of 51 down to like 11. Today, we're back up to 49, I think we are at right this second. So we were able to, everyone came back, which was we're very lucky, very, very lucky.
That's amazing.
A lot of have had staff shortages and have had to adjust their hours because of the shortages. So we've been very lucky. I guess the other thing that is a challenge for us too, like everybody else, is inflation. When we see oil jump from $20 per jug to $40 per jug, that's a 33% increase. So that's our next challenge. Staffing luckily has been okay. We've been very blessed, but inflation is one that we have to really be mindful of.
Do you guys do delivery?
We do online delivery only through Skip the Dishes. All of our online delivery is through them only. We do in-house pickup and dine in. So good option, order delivery. Better option, come pick it up. Best option, come dine in and put your bum in a chair and enjoy the sights, smells, and ambiance of Matador Pizza.
That's great. Well, we've seen quite a few pizzerias open up even in the last 2 years, which sounds amazing, but in theory, but on paper, it's happened. And I wonder, can you look back on when you started, if you could talk to your younger self, what advice would you give to him on opening a business, pizza business?
So first off, I would say if you're getting in the pizza business, you have to figure out your why and your who, and find a lane that's not crowded. Jump in that lane and stay focused. If you're going to make a certain kind of pizza, make sure that there's not a lot of big players around you or within the style that you do. So for me, I make Calgary Greek style pizza. Hence, my pizza is very popular in Calgary. My lane is not crowded. It's narrow, and I try not to deviate at all. I don't play against chain pizzas. Even though I'm surrounded by them all, it doesn't affect me. They can open up 1,000 chains, but because my lane is narrow and tight and my road is long, I'm 100% okay. As long as I don't deviate. Right. Yeah.
That's good. And that leads.
I would say to myself back then, but I didn't really know 100% where I was going. I got lucky that I had a great style of pizza people really enjoyed here. And I don't know if it translates into different cities or different areas of the country, but where I am, it's the style people want.
Oh, that leads me to my question of what makes you different. Is it kind of centered on the style, or what makes you different? Why people would want to come to your place rather than any other place?
Sure, I think it's our longevity, our nostalgia, our style is again unique to Calgary area. A lot of people grew up eating this style of pizza, so again, it's that comfort food, that sense of connection when you come here. So when you're coming to Matador, you're coming for a purpose. You're coming to relax. You're coming to decompress. You're coming to connect and enjoy the nostalgia and the comfort of that style of pizza. Where, let's face it, heavy pizza is one of the basic comfort foods, right? And maybe stew and in different cultures, but in our culture and Mediterranean culture, it's pizza, pasta are definitely our comfort foods.
Oh, getting my mouth watering.
Ah, good.
It sounds good. Can you tell us a little bit about, if you were to compare it to other types of pizza, because we have, obviously there's Chicago deep dish, there's sort of a modified deep dish that Windsor does, pan pizza. Are there other words that you attribute to your style?
Sure. We're a pan style pizza. We're heavier than Windsor. The cheese on the top, Windsor style pizza has that cheese on the outside that's kind of crisp, kind of like Detroit style, where the cheese goes right to the end of the pan. Our crust goes to the top of the pan, and we're using about 1.5 inch pan. Our cheese goes to the crust, not quite onto the pan. Otherwise, our oven would be a mess because of the depth. And as the pizza rises, that cheese, the crust browns, the bottom browns heavy, almost like a knock, like a thunk on the bottom. And then the cheese on top is the crispy, fatty, buttery style of cheese on top. So it's a full fat cheese. And you get that, it's a browning of the cheese rather than a blister that you'd see on, say, like a skim fat milk or a blended matzo cheese. So it's more of a crispy layer on top. And then as you cut into it or bite into it, you see the melty pull on the bottom of beneath that. Pretty nice and heavy. Like you carry one of our pizzas and it's double or triple the weight of a box store pizza.
So that's going to feed a family or two.
yeah, they are. Most people think they can crush 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. 2 of ours, you're especially in our large or extra large, you're done. Yeah.
Oh, it sounds good. Kind of sells itself.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have you give us a tour in a minute if you don't mind. But I have to ask, where did you learn to bake the Greek style? I know you've grown up with it, but
yeah, I am kind of one of those lucky ones. I grew up in a kitchen, scooping out grease traps with my arm when I was 7 years old, kind of thing. So the glamorous jobs, right? So I've been around some great pizza chefs my whole life. The chef here at Matador Pizza, who when it opened, is also a friend of my father's. The Greek community is so tight, and when they first came to Calgary, there was maybe 1,000 of them, right? And they were all super tight, and they shared a lot. And hey, open a pizzeria here. People like this style of pizza, and that's kind of how it grew in Calgary. Now, today, it's, free pizzas on every corner now almost.
Yeah,
Not
that's
quite, but
awesome.
yeah.
But you still got your, your niche.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For sure. And
That's
what's good for us is all the chains coming in, to be honest with you, because they can fight it out. It leaves us alone. We're not on their radar at all. And for them to try and make our product at their price point, they'll be out of business. We're using local, fresh, Italian sausage. We hand cut. We use, a local full fat cheese where most of these companies can't afford to buy that. We're using cut Canadian back bacon in house, right? We grind our own chuck and put that for our beef. We're buying local pepperonis and salamis from Edmonton, produced here in Alberta. We're pretty lucky that we can use higher end products, and I think that kind of shows through in our end product. And of course, higher end tomatoes, right? That makes a big difference. We don't use sugar. We don't use corn syrups. We just let the natural flavors of our product come through.
right. The high quality products.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had issues? I know some people have had issues with getting supplies, getting their regular ingredients or products that they need to run the business.
No.
It hasn't affected you much. That's
Not
good.
at all. Supply chain has not affected us. We were able to get good supply of everything, and we're also blessed. We can commissary a lot of, like pineapple orders will run on for a while. We were able to, to secure a couple pallets and put them on our commissary and hold them. So things like that are important. If you have the means and the ability to buy ahead, that was helpful during the initial inflation surge.
Right.
So things like that were good for us. We're very lucky.
Yeah. Always looking ahead.
A little bit of foresight. Yeah, absolutely.
Good. That's good.
Oil was a tough one. Oil was the toughest one. Our fryers and that
Right.
oil was crazy.
And getting the same kind that you always use. Like I've heard that from others, that trying to keep your product consistent.
We've been able to get all of our product, no problem. Our olive oil keeps coming in. Our cooking oils keep coming in. But there's the price surge. That's what our biggest challenge was. Kind of almost post-COVID. There's definitely the inflationary boost for sure.
Yes, and that leads me into price increases. Have you had to, or do you anticipate doing that? How has that been for you?
Currently we haven't, but we're going to have to. We've been able to. I think for me it was, let's see where inflation lands, and then price increase accordingly. Is it a supply chain issue, or is it definitely inflationary? I think it's going to be a bit of both. And I wanted to see how, once supply chain leveled off, where was inflation gonna fall to or rise to, kind of settle. And we're not quite there yet. I think another month or so, we're going to have to really take a look at that, because I think it's starting to open up. I know that my suppliers are having an easier time currently getting product. I haven't seen the decrease in a lot of the staple goods we use yet. So once we set, like I said, when we find that level of stability, then we'll price increase then.
Right, makes sense.
For sure. Yeah.
Listen, I see behind you have Matador. And can we see more? Can you show us around? Do a little tour?
Absolutely, I'd love to take you on a tour of Matador's.
Thanks for the tour, Jason.
You're
The place
welcome.
looks great and ready to open. I think you're just before opening time today, and
Yeah,
hope you have a good day.
I'm excited for today. Every day is getting better for us. Like I said, tomorrow our mask mandates are being lifted, so it'll be fun to see our clients' face again, for them to see ours as well, and our reaction to their choices and how they're able to reconnect with their families and connect with the servers again on a more personal level. I'm excited for everything. I'm excited for where we're going. It should be a fun time going forward. The last 2 years haven't been fun for restaurateurs, but I think going forward, we're definitely going to have a better go.
That's good to hear. Do you have any plans? What's next for you
Well,
guys?
as a entrepreneur, I'm always thinking I want to expand or pick up another one or see how my model franchises maybe. We don't know. There's three things that could happen, I guess. One, I could open up a new location in a different part of the town in an area where the same kind of people live who resonate with our brand. Number two is maybe buy another existing place that has tired owners, because let's face it, the pandemic has been not a good time for a lot of restaurateurs. That's an option, as long as it's in my niche. The other option is sit tight, run up my career, and enjoy my restaurant.
It's all like pretty good options.
If the opportunity falls in my lap, we'll definitely jump. But let's wait and see how. Let's hopefully we have a couple of fun years of restaurant and pizza businesses. That's my hope.
Oh, that's great. That's our hope for you too. And thank you for joining us, Jason Seitanidis.
My pleasure. My
Yeah,
pleasure.
everyone, this has been Jason Seitanidis from Matador Pizza and Steakhouse in Calgary. Thank you for opening up your place to show us around and tell us a bit about your thriving pizza business.
I always love bragging about where the magic happens. Thanks for having me, Colleen.
Our pleasure.